Good morning, dear friends. I welcome you all in this first lecture of the course Veterinary Parasitology, that is VPA. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. G.P. Bharkat. I am working as Associate Professor in the Department of Veterinary Parasitology since 2009. This course is comprised of 108 lectures which covers the general veterinary parasitology, helminthology, veterinary entomology and acarology, and finally the protozoology. Today we'll discuss the first lecture of general veterinary parasitology, that is introduction and different terms, definitions used in this parasitology course. When we talk about parasitology, the first question arises in our mind is what is parasite? The parasite is an organism which lives in or another organism, that is the host, and benefit by deriving nutrients at the expense of other, that is the host. The term originates from a Greek word, and that is the combination of para and cytos. Para means beside, cytos means food. So it's beside the food, and its counterpart is the host. Host is such an organism which harbors the parasite. Then we'll see what is veterinary parasitology. So the parasites of the domesticated animals. Veterinary parasitology is the study of parasites of domestic animals in simple terms, and it is the science that explores the relationship between the various animal hosts and their parasite. Means the phenomenon of parasitism between the host and parasite. So this veterinary parasitology, it only is a multidisciplinary subject which covers the morphology, the biochemistry, physiology of the parasite, their host, transmission of the parasite, then complete life cycle of the parasite, their development, and during this phase, how it interacts with its host, and the diagnosis, treatment, and the control of this parasite. This is how it covers all the aspects of the life of the parasite. When we go into the history of the parasite and their development, the parasitic diseases are in existence since immemorial time and yet could not be controlled, and these parasites, they continue to evade and becoming more and more pathogenic. There are records of finding the helminthic infections in Egyptian mummies in the ancient literature during the 1210 to 1000 BC. There are also references in the Egyptian medical book, that is Eber's papyrus of 1550 BC, and there has been reference of 5 worms in that ancient book as listed below. So these are the Ascaris lumbricoids, Taenia saginata, which is a tapeworm, then Dracunculus medinensis, there is a guinea worm, Schistosoma hematobium, and Trichinella spiralis. During those days, some physicians, maybe Assyrian, Babylonian, and Greek physicians, they also reported some other parasites, that is ectoparasites, arthropods, such as fleas, flies, lice, and some others. The parasites, they are not only infecting the animals, but also they infect the human beings, and they are affecting the health of human beings, and in case of animals, they are affecting the production, reproduction, and performance of the animals. And the influence of these parasites, it has been already proved since the ancient records. Earlier, it was thought that the maggots which we found in the wounds of different animals, they generate spontaneously. Okay, but an Italian biologist, Francisco Redi, he challenged this theory of spontaneous generation of maggots in the wounds, and he demonstrated the source of maggots is the eggs of the flies. Francisco Redi has also recognized and described correctly the details of about 180 parasites, which includes Fasciola hepatica, the liver flick, Ascaris lumbricoids, large nematode of human beings, and he also distinguished earthworms from the helminths. So he has a very huge contribution in the development of modern parasitology. Hence, Francisco Redi is known as father of modern parasitology. There are many wars which are influenced by these different parasitic diseases. For example, Alexander had to stop his conquest of the world war, okay, because of malaria, because the many soldiers they get this infection during that war. In those days, North Africa couldn't invade South Africa just because the incidence or prevalence of the trypanosomosis in that area. Hence, the parasites and parasitic diseases, these are the single most cause of mortality and moreover the morbidity, and this leading to immense economic losses to the farmers. In our country, the gastrointestinal nematodes in case of small ruminants like sheep and goat, still it is a havoc. Okay, uh, in cows, lambs, liver flukes, hemoncus, and coccidia. So these three are the major culprits still during the growing period of these cows and lambs. Though we have partially succeeded in Operation Flood by crossbreeding our animals to exotic breeds of cattle, with this, there has been increase in the incidence of theileriosis in crossbred animals as well as the exotic breeds of the cattle. However, our Indian indigenous breeds are tolerant or resistant to theileriosis disease, but still the theileriosis has remained a single largest parasitic disease, which are uh, which has become a major hurdle in this Operation Flood. Coccidiosis in broiler farms. So it is a result of poor management and it destroys the entire farm. So these parasites they compete for food with their hosts, and which as a result they fail to gain the weight, their growth, reproduction, then economy of the livestock enterprise. In pet animals also, a nematodosis like toxocariosis and colostomosis is again the big problem. The young ones of the dogs, puppies, they die in early age because of this infection. Heartworm is also a great challenge for the veterinarians in certain parts of the world, especially the northeastern regions of our country. In cats, we know Toxoplasma gondii is a great threat not only for the animals but also human beings. Besides this, arthropods or ectoparasites, they cause many losses to the animals by sucking the blood, creating the injuries in the skin. But in addition to that, they have a great vector potential. They are responsible to transmit many deadly diseases, especially protozoan diseases in animals, also in human beings. Its best example for it is the mosquitoes. Is again still is a big challenge to control the population of mosquito and the protozoan disease, especially in human beings, that is malaria. How these parasites impact the life of the host, forging good relationship, take the advantage in the relationship, and finally depriving the host of their nutrients, which result loss of body condition, loss of body weight, loss of health, and finally the economic losses. When we talk about in general the economic importance of these parasites and parasitic diseases in the livestock sector, the parasites, especially the ectoparasites, they create the annoyance. They make the animal restless. The animals could not concentrate on their normal routine like grazing, feeding, and they undergo malnutrition. In addition to that, the parasites they compete for food like GI parasites. Some of the ecto and endoparasites, they are blood-sucking parasites, leading to loss of blood, anemia, and eventually the animals lose their condition. As I told earlier, some of the ectoparasites, they are acting as a vector and they themselves cause the disease. In addition, they also transmit other diseases to among the animals, even in the human beings, and leading to ill health in the animals. And finally, it leads to morbidity and mortality in case of animals. All these harmful effects leads to stunted growth, infertility, production loss, the expenditure on the treatment of these parasitic diseases, control of the expenditure on control of these parasitic diseases. Altogether, it leads to heavy economic losses to the farmers. This all shows how the study of parasites, especially veterinary parasites, is essential in the veterinary curriculum. With this, we will stop today's lecture, and in next lecture, we will study about the animal association, different types of animal association. Thank you. Thank you very much.